Okay, today I wanted to talk about block planes and what they can be used for. A lot of people think that block planes have only very limited and very specific uses, but that isn't true. A block plane is really, it's just a small plane. It's just like your giant bench plane. It can be used for all the same tasks as bench planes, only on a smaller scale. Okay, planing a flat surface with a block plane. You have a face of a board. It's got some marks. This one has a big divot there, a bunch of scratches all over the place. We want to just, it's a small board, maybe used in a box or the back of a drawer or even the front of a drawer. But we just need to make it presentable. You can grab a bench plane. Bench plane is going to be a lot bigger than this board, and it's going to be a bit awkward to work with. But if you have a block plane, you can use a block plane for surface planes. They're perfectly fine. See, it does a perfectly good shading. And if we walk it across, there are no edge lines. We've taken away a full thickness here and made it pretty nice. So we can keep going. Taking more. Oops, forgot to anchor that. My bad. When you plane against a single stop, you have to make sure that the line of your plane is right into the stop. Otherwise, that is what happens. It turns. Anyway, you can see that as we go, this surface is getting better and better. You can flip it around, plane the grain in the other direction if you want. There you go, my shavings. If we plane progressively across, we won't leave any edge marks. And we can get that surface down really quickly and really nicely with just a block plane. Block planes can also be used for end grain. If we want to clean up this end grain, we can first bevel the edges just a little bit. This will prevent any tear out. If we don't want beveled edges, well, that's fine. You don't need to bevel them. You just, if you're not going to bevel the end, then when you take your stroke, you need to stop before you get to the end. Otherwise, you can get tear out as you come off. If your blade is wicked sharp and the grain of the wood is strong enough, you don't need to worry about that, but most of the time you're going to rip out something on the end there. So you can see that's taken good thick shaving, and that has turned that into nice smooth end grain. If we take slightly less of a shaving, a thinner shaving in other words, we can polish that up even more. And here's our shavings. As soon as you touch them, they turn to dust. So yeah, great for end grain. And yeah, you can use a block plane for doing side grain as well. Long grain on a side of a board. It's the same thing as face grain, really. There's not that much difference, except it's not as wide. So the block plane is quite easy to balance on there. And you take a reasonable shaving, you can get to a perfectly good finished edge on your board very quickly. I could take more of a shaving, but I kind of like the more controlled approach. See, we got a bit of reversing grain right here, so we can plane up to that in one direction. There goes my glove. and then plane up to it in the other direction. You would obviously want to balance your strokes to prevent creating a hump or a whoop-de-doo on either end. But there you go. Block plane on side grain, face grain, whatever. Okay, you can also use a block plane for beveling. If you just hold it at a fixed angle and go down the edge, you create a beveled edge. The more shavings you take, the wider your bevel gets. So there's a beveled edge. You can also round edges by taking a pass at a different angle each pass. And as you go down, that edge will become rounded. You wind up with a nice rounded edge on that side and a nice beveled edge on that side. In summary, block plane is a good, quick to hand, very lightweight, easy to use, highly maneuverable, small plane. But it's just like any other plane. It can be used for any task that any other plane can be used for.